Hello, a scraper. Found myself in a condition of wanting to make a video. I gave up on the idea because I couldn't really decide what to make a video about. And instead I started scraping the spoon I was making. And I thought, well, there's a video I can make. I'd like to recommend a scraper. Not necessarily this particular one, but this was from a Rough Rider sous chef, which is a kind of a cool concept of knife that was really badly realized. Very thin stock, some kind of Damascus. Even has the little ripples there in the secondary bevel. You can't see them really, but they're in there. These wells, you can see one there. These kind of wells that they put on kitchen knives for yeah, there we go, now they're standing out for slicing, right? So your carrots don't stick or whatever. And the spring was like twice as wide as the blade stock, and they didn't accommodate for that really, so the whole thing was tremendously wobbly. And I pulled it apart, destroyed it, used the washers for something, and kept thinking about, ways I could maybe rehandle this blade somehow, fix blade, something. Oh, I actually had an idea. Hang tight. I might still do it. I came by this this handle. It's a tool handle, and what I figured is that somehow I could encrust this into this handle and then have a hollow handle, ultra lightweight hollow handle survival knife, kind of for a fisherman, for example. This would be a cool little knife, I guess, for processing a fish, right? So you could have your fishing kit in here and a little backup survival knife concept. But because I might get around to that or not. Oops. Oh man, I'm gonna have to find that. A mess on the floor. Find that later. So just as is, it's a really great scraper, and there is a channel on YouTube called Cremona Revival, wherein it was revealed that the great luthier, violin maker Stradivarius used broken fighting knives for his scraping. And nowadays, most luthiers, like the luthier that taught me to make a knife, who's my friend Julien, they use a thin stock, like the scraper that you would buy, or a saw blade, or something very thin and flexible. And then you raise a bead on that by using something like a screwdriver. You get it thin on one side, and then you actually bend your bead over. You get this thin curl of wire bead, and you just scrape with that until you've scraped it away, and then you raise yourself another wire bead. That's a little different. I made a video about that called Honing the Old Scraperoo. But this works well, and as opposed to the conventional kind of spatula style scraper, that's good for scraping paint off the wall or whatever. But for this kind of job, this is really good. It's a good piece of steel, Even there is, in fact, the no longer legendary but scientifically validated by Dr. Laren Thomas Damascus cutting effect. So presumably we'll be getting some of that with our scraping here. And so this is a really nice way to get a really good smooth finish, and it saves you on sandpaper. Now, when the grain is kind of problematic, then it doesn't work so well. It's harder to get flats. So here, for example, it's a little harder. But with care, changing angle and so forth, you get it pretty flat. And you can always come in with sandpaper later and or a file or something that gives you that straight edge. So what occurred to me, because I just sharpened this on the 400 grit, was, well, if I sharpen it on a 1000 grit, wouldn't that give me like a 1000 grit finish? Because I was reflecting on the fact that, you know, if you finish a spoon and you're going to wax it and all that, you don't really want to get it as smooth as possible and then wax it, because when it's that smooth, it won't absorb the oil or the wax or whatever you're using. But a really fine polished edge would help. You know, see how I want to take that out. I need something that's not going to dig in at all. It's not going to tear at all. It's just going to shave the grain. So then I would want to go to a really fine edge on my scraper, and then before oiling, touch it with a toothy edge to bring up the grain and make it absorb. I guess you could soak it in water or whatever. This was a piece of, I think it's beech. It's my best guess. Piece of firewood that had the kind of shape in it. I got 2 spoons out of that. Here's the other one. Bit more of a work in progress still. So yeah, this was the outer part, and this was a little deeper in. So you got a slight color change going on there. And this could have been from the same tree. It's from the same firewood source. Nice big one I'm working on. Let's see what this scraper will do to that there. That's a knife finish there. Blade finished. Not scraped, cut, I think. That's what it looks like. Now I should really get myself a scraper together. I keep meaning to make myself a scraper for scraping out the inside of a spoon bowl. Beautiful. Put a drop of coffee on there. See how that grain pops. Lovely. I'll show you. Hold on. What I've been using. Oh, there's this as well. This is a flex cut spoon carving jack. So I've been using these blades. Mostly this one. I used this a little too. Amazing knife. Just so incredibly sharp. I think I did dull it yesterday with all I put it through. Dulled it a bit, but still pretty sharp. It's digging into this paper, smoking paper. So yeah, I don't know how they do it. Honestly, they get it so sharp and so nicely polished. This was just going to be about scrapers, not knives, but hey, is this even a knife? This is some kind of tool, right? Fantastic. So yeah, I use that, but for the scraping part, I found that the spade blade on a case trapper, mini trapper almost even more. The mini trapper I have has even more of a rounded tip. So I've been using that. Sodbuster also has a really good, I mean, this, for example, hopeless. Yeah, you want to get in there and scrape, no way, right? But with this, You notice that the steel is maybe not so great. You know, if you've ever tried scraping with like a super steel knife or whatever. But you scrape the apex on your super steel knife, now you got trouble getting that back on compared to what it's like on something like this. Also Damascus scraper effect. So that is now still a little sharp, but you know, to bring that up, beg your pardon. Wub, 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 wub. Nice. Well, I think I've gone on long enough. So why not go on a little longer? I had a fantasy about this knife, which would be to turn it into a single blader with just this blade. And then take this one out, put it in a kind of a lightweight utilitarian handle for scraper use. You know, the thing about the two blade is that, you know, now this is offset. Now when you grip it, you got this springy, angular thing digging into your fingers. So, I mean, yeah, the lines of the knife, just like that, versus like that, you know. I mean, that's kind of cool too, you know. So anyway, it's just a fantasy, destructive, creative fantasy. You know, be a learning experience. One more potential project on my mental shelf. Cool. So I recommend that you get yourself a scraper. You know, broken knife would be a good example. Or a knife that you're happy to break if you like scraping, or you think you might like scraping. Thanks for watching. Bye.